Whoa, 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 whoa. Guys, the Wicked movie finally came out, and the only thing that makes me tear up more than Ariana and Cynthia on their press tour is the fact that there's new 3-piece fan art for it. Sit back, get your Glinda and Elphaba-themed cups, and listen to us talk about major plot points, scandals, and our general thoughts on the movie. If you have any ideas for future videos, submit them to our Google form. If you want to support us in another way, we also have a Ko-Fi. Okay, so,
Interesting choice on their part.
I'm gonna tell you about Act 1 and 2, though, anyway. Just because that's the
what
musical.
Came first? Yeah, what came first?
So obviously we're in the land of Oz. Right, and so
wonderful magical place.
Right, and so everyone's familiar. It's like, this isn't something new. We don't really need to establish this. Basically, it starts by all of the citizens of Oz, which is like such a great name too.
Iconic.
They're celebrating the death of the Wicked Witch of the West. Oh,
we're actually the same person.
Which is like, that's like, we know what that is.
Wait a minute, we've seen this before.
And then obviously Glinda floats down in her little bubble, which is like, oh
also
wow,
so
this
iconic.
is literally just like what happened.
Also,
so
it was
iconic.
awesome in real life when you're watching it.
Oh my god,
Yes,
life
so
changing.
cool.
The whole thing is life changing. I can't. And she's kind of talking vaguely about how people, singing, think about goodness and wickedness in No One Mourns the Wicked, which is such a great song too.
So iconic. That's
Oh
just
my
an
God.
awesome line. Like,
no one mourns the wicked.
chills!
Literally chills. So basically, they went to university together.
So iconic.
At Shiz.
Kind of an interesting name, but
Yeah, okay, Shiz at Oz,
Shiz
sure.
Shiz University at Oz.
At Oz. Basically, Elphaba gets there and she arrives with her sister, and everyone's kind of like, whoa.
You're weird.
You're weird. You're green. You're green. You're green. You're green. And it's like, oh my god, guys.
Actually racist to that.
Yeah, it's like literally racism. And then obviously Galinda at the time, she's not Glinda yet, is this like little blonde, like
perfect, popular.
Literally.
But quite literally.
The standard, let's say.
Yeah.
And then they're forced to share a room. So it's kind of like that trope. And then Elphaba ends up impressing one of the professors because she's really talented. And then the professor says that she should work with the Wizard of Oz and that she's gonna write her a letter and everything. And then obviously Elphaba's really happy about that. But all while this is happening, Glinda is like she's having her moment being like a bully because of course. And so she's kind of like mocking her and they just hate each other. Oh wait, something is wrong. That's interesting. Why are they like taking all the animals away? Because they're talking animals. It's not like this is like they're sentient guys. Like they're a part of society.
Flying monkey.
So
yeah, they're not quite flying monkey.
They're not quite flying monkey.
They're talking goat professor.
The goat professor Dilliman. He warns Elphaba about the growing discrimination against these animals who are obviously sentient, and then he gets fired and taken away. Glinda decides to give Elphaba like a quote-unquote makeover and gives her a hat, and she's like really is trying to convince her to wear this hat, but she thinks it's ugly. Yeah, she thinks it's ugly, but she's telling Elphaba, and Elphaba obviously she just believes her because this is just terrible because then Elphaba actually decides to go to this big dance.
She's wearing her witch hat
and she wears the hat, and then everyone laughs at her, and it's like, guys,
but it's her iconic costume.
I know it's iconic. Honest, in kind of a little bit of a twist, Glinda feels bad for her, and then they start dancing together, which kind of marks the beginning of their blossoming friendship. They're both invited to see the wizard. It's actually revealed that the wizard's evil, and Elphaba's dreams are shattered, but then she's not gonna stand for it.
As she should.
And she flees, and she sings her iconic number, Defying Gravity. And then Glinda is like becoming the head and the face because of all of this drama, and then Glinda's like this like pure little angel. And she's engaged to Fiyero, but then it turns out Fiyero actually like doesn't mess with her like that.
I love someone else.
Oh wait, like actually this Elphaba, like we've always had something. And then Elphaba and Fiyero meet again, and then they have a moment, they have a night together, As Long As You're Mine, such a good song. Unfortunately, the wizard is like actively on a hunt for them still, which is like, that sucks. Fiyero then sacrifices himself to help Elphaba escape.
Did she turn into the scarecrow?
Yes, she ends up turning him into the scarecrow, which is also iconic, and it's like, this is where
I wouldn't have really accepted that.
Yeah.
For him to be the scarecrow.
Yeah. because obviously this is where like the plot from this and The Wizard of Oz kind of like
meld,
but also kind of collide a little bit, because of Scarecrow, that's not like how it actually is. But I like the way they looped it in anyway.
I agree.
Then Elphaba tries to like rescue Dorothy, but she like it doesn't work out, and her melting, quote unquote, is
they had that whole scene.
Yeah,
it's
cool. Like it's like a ruse, it's not real. And then she actually escapes with Fiyero, and then they
live happily.
They live together, which I love. And Glinda. It's kind of sad because Glinda just has to like lead Oz by herself. But
and also like she wants to be friends with Elphaba, but she knows she can't be. She has to like put on the act that she's wicked.
Yeah. Because it keeps them both safe. And then that's it. That's how it ends. And they sing for good, and it's beautiful, and you cry, and it's gorgeous, and the costuming is amazing.
Wonderful. So I know what all of y'all are here for. It's some of the controversies.
This is the tea. This is the tea section.
Around last year, I feel like when they really started filming and it started getting more in the public eye, there were some leaked photos and stuff. So the first big controversy was the fact that people thought that Ethan Slater and Ariana Grande were cheating. The relationship timeline is a little bit iffy because they met each other on Ethan Slater played SpongeBob.
Right?
He played SpongeBob on Broadway. I don't remember which character
in the show
he plays what's the guy?
Oh my god,
Bach. Okay, so he plays Bach. Yeah, when they first started dating, everyone was like, wait a minute. Or like there was pictures of them together, and he was previously married to his high school sweetheart. Divorced in September of last year, which was around the time that him and Ariana got together. So they were calling Ariana a homewrecker, and people were attacking Ethan Slater for his looks.
Oh, guys.
And I was like,
guys, that's not...
Yeah. What's very interesting now is like people have kind of, this is obviously like a year later retrospective, like over years, is like people don't really care that much anymore. Like they just don't.
Well,
and
that's
like,
just the
and
trend.
they're also
cycle.
like, wait, are you? But like, this doesn't say. People are literally saying, Ariana, I get it now, under like reviews and stuff with Ethan Slater. Also, do y'all remember that one clip of him? He's going, they're handling so much love and care. Yes. I'll always remember that. This was maybe a month ago. So Cynthia Erivo plays Elphaba, obviously. She reposted a fan-made poster that was edited to look like the Broadway playbills. The Wicked movie poster is like pretty much the Broadway playbill. Fan page did it to where like the shadows over her face, Ariana has her face or her hand over more.
It made it more accurate.
So it was just more accurate to the playbill. And she reposted it and saying it was degrading. Like she said, it degrades us. And it's equal to people posing the question, is your fill in the blank green. She said the original poster is an illustration. I'm a real life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer. Because without words, we communicate with our eyes. This person just wanted to make it more like the people. They were actually excited for the movie account, like reposted saying like, I didn't mean, I liked the poster, I liked the edit, I didn't mean for this to happen, I'm still excited to see the movie. It was like this poor person, like
so sad.
Huge fan, like, and also apparently excited. She later on said that she should have just talked it out with a friend instead of like going on Instagram.
Girl, yeah,
it's like yeah. What's most interesting is like the story. A couple stories before that, she did her face on the poster and on like that veteran photo, like
like
that for like
1,000-yard stare.
The 1,000-yard stare, like what? She reposted that and like thought it was funny. Like, how is this any different if not? Except better? This one isn't even supposed to be
more serious. Yeah.
This one is more silly, but Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande have been crying in almost every interview, and people have been making like so many compilations and just talking about it.
Not time, helicopter.
Guys, like I understand this is like really emotional for you,
but it's like
your
so many. It's every single one, and they've had so many interviews. It's so.
Like in a way, she's like supporting her, being like, no, like this is a moment.
How many of those moments have been recorded?
Too many to count. Every time they're on camera.
Speaking of like memes, I guess from this whole press tour, the riff that Cynthia Erivo has done for Defying Gravity, she's a great singer. But the first time I heard it, I was like, "Whoa, what?" Because like obviously the end riff of Defying Gravity is so iconic. It's
like they marvel of.
That's like when you think of Broadway, that's like that riff. She goes like the wah, wah, wah. People have been like the Target ad. Because when she did that, people already were like kind of clowning on her for lack of a better word.
That's my line.
And yeah, but the Target ad, it's so funny. It is so funny. I love when people slow it down. But then also recently, I was watching Jimmy Fallon on YouTube because he was interviewing Cynthia Erivo, and he made her do the riff. Like she was. We cannot keep doing doing this?
No,
Also,
like pick your battles.
It's
please.
so funny.
I feel
it's
like
so
they
funny.
they shouldn't have revealed it at all because that is
I
the
agree.
most.
That's
because
like the moment.
also that's
Also,
gonna be the end of the
yes,
movie.
yeah.
The end of the
It
movie is
would
gonna
have
be
been.
that.
It would have been.
And
great.
everyone knows that Defying Gravity is obviously going to be in the
Yeah.
Wicked movie
Yeah,
because
I
that would
think-
be insane if it
if they
wasn't.
left it out.
Yeah, but I feel like if they left it out entirely because that's obviously one of the most famous songs.
It would have had
been
but now it's just like
appeal. Now it's like we're
people,
tired.
no,
of
we're gonna
it.
watch it and people are gonna laugh at the end.
Yeah.
No,
No.
because- Last but not least, our expectations for the movie. As you can already tell, we kind of got a lot to say. The fact that this is a 2-part movie, I just have to address this again. I think it'll be enjoyable, but I'm very curious on how they're gonna like span this out and still make the second movie interesting.
Yeah.
I just feel like personally, why would we not just make it one movie?
Because they want money.
What is in the second movie that's gonna be so like
They just want money.
keep you like watching now?
Yeah, because the second act isn't as strong to me, like in terms of it can stand alone.
No, I don't think it could stand. Like, I think the
can't.
first act could stand alone.
Yeah.
But
second
like, why
act-
wouldn't you just do all of it?
No,
Exactly.
exactly. Also, like
Because like Defying Gravity is the perfect climax. Like that's
Exactly.
the climax. You
Exactly.
can't end on
I
the
think
climax.
first act is
Like,
just
It's also
iconic.
shorter. Like it's
Yeah,
a lot
it is.
shorter.
I'm curious. Like, are they gonna be
Like, dragging
just
it out, adding
dragging
more
it out,
stuff? I
adding more
don't know.
stuff?
they're gonna add new songs. I would.
Can you
hate
imagine
that?
that?
I would
That'd be horrible.
hate
They
that.
would. They would lose.
I don't
every
think they
fan.
would do that. Yeah, I don't think
That
they
would
do
be so. That would be difficult.
Honestly, I would expect like I wouldn't be surprised. I would be disappointed, but I would be like, of course.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Another thing interesting, they did live singing on the set for the whole movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's really cool. I know we were dissing on Cynthia Erivo for her Defying Gravity, but if you watch any clips or some behind the scene clips, and she's like literally strapped
Flying
into the
around.
harness.
Oh my god, that's
And
crazy.
I saw this video. She was explaining like she had her corset, everything on underneath, and then the harness, multiple hours a day, flying
And
around,
she's
singing
still
live.
singing?
And
No, the clip
it
is
steady.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so
it's
steady.
really
Crazy.
impressive. It sounds like it's gonna be really cool. There was a clip of Cynthia and Ariana singing. I believe it was a part in Defying Gravity. I'll have to double check. They literally sounded so. They sound like one voice. It was
No, yeah,
really,
their
it was
voice
actually
blended
really,
amazing.
really pretty. Which I've noticed. I mean, I haven't really actually seen that many renditions of the musical version, like different casts. But the one that Mina and I saw, they were like so blended. They sound like the same voice. I mean, obviously they were different, but they sound like the same voice.
That's what I love about that. Is the fact that
Me
like they
too.
didn't write in like harmonies.
Yes,
is that
it's
it's the
so
same
intentional.
note. Yeah.
It shows how much they're
Because
like
they, like,
bonded
finally came
and
together.
yeah, it's so beautiful, and it just sounds it's so powerful when it's like two female
Yeah,
voices
powerful.
singing
And that,
together.
that are
and you
obviously
sound-
just like some of the best.
yes, because those roles, I mean, they're iconic and
They're
the
the
songs
like
are not
most
easy to
sought
sing.
after
won those,
roles
yeah.
So
ever.
it does have to stay the expectations very high, but it seems like Cynthia and Ariana are gonna be great.
It's
However,
Jessie and Ari.
everyone else, I saw a clip of Jonathan Bailey. Loved the guy.
The singing was
it was
Fiero.
not.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dancing through life,
it just
It was very like
I was like,
lackluster. I feel like this
yeah.
happens a lot when men sing. Like, sorry to all you guys that like Hugh Jackman, but like his voice is not all that.
this is the greatest show.
We light it up.
and then you have like the most powerful female voices ever. Like,
Exactly.
next to that,
That's
it's
why I'm like. And also,
well,
I don't.
women
Does,
and men,
does
let's
Bach
talk
have
about
any?
it.
Does Bach have any singing lines?
He has like some. They're like sing speaky.
Okay, because
Ethan
I
Slater
actually don't
has a nice
remember.
voice.
Okay, I say I actually don't.
Well,
remember
I've only
what
heard him
sounds
sing
like.
in SpongeBob voice. But like
is
it
impressive
was
still.
good.
It is very
good.
impressive. He's another example. When he was SpongeBob, there's a scene where he's going around this neck
Yeah,
thing.
climbing upside
Climbing,
down.
and his voice was
Actually,
steady.
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's really impressive.
And like all that for the SpongeBob musical. Okay.
Exactly. Okay.
That musical is actually I haven't seen.
I've heard
Slime
great things
Tutorial,
about it.
but
I know,
the
Slime
costuming
Tutorial.
is really good in my opinion.
And I've
The
heard so many
story,
things about
yes.
it.
And
I've
also,
heard a couple songs.
another thing I noticed. The coloring in the whole movie, someone said looks like a credit card commercial.
Oh, that's
and
good.
you know, you're right. Because
Marvel is what I kept thinking.
yeah, Marvel, it hurts me because they made so much of the set. So it's like
Yeah.
a lot of it is not just the big blue walls that they use in Marvel.
Yeah.
It is like a whole town is what it
Yeah.
looks like. When you film that, how can you not
Exemplify
make the
it.
colors
Just add the saturation of
just
a
a little
tad.
bit. It looks like
Just a
they actually
tad.
went in and like made
Desaturated.
desaturated.
They're in theaters, but for me, like
I wanna
I
see it
think,
in
and what I
theaters.
agree with a lot of people, Wizard of
Holiday
Oz is one of
movie?
the first Technicolor movies.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
so it is very saturated. So I feel like if they had kept that,
Like shouldn't have.
I feel like it's
And
it
they
would've been
could
really
have
cool,
given
a
it
cool nod to
if
that
they
to the source
if they
material.
did it in that way. Oh my god, that would have been
It would have looked so pretty. And
like.
also because saturated colors they don't have to be super this like childish thing if that's what
No.
maybe their decision was. It can
If
look
you add
it can
enough contrast,
still,
it's
yes,
still,
it can
like,
still
look
look
really
very
nice.
beautiful. And also like Oz
Magical.
is this like
It's
spectacle magical city. So for it to be gray takes me out of it. And it also makes the special effects look more fake, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I know
Yeah.
you're trying to make it look too real, when sometimes the beauty in that is that, I mean, it's not real.
That being said, all the costuming
costuming is great.
Set design,
Yeah.
it looks really cool. And there's been some clips that we've seen of some of the choreo, and they ate actually, like,
which is like, if they didn't, they would have
it looked so good.
Yeah.
The
So,
choreo eats
like,
food.
and also, like, it was Loathing that we saw, like, a little clip from. The amount of times they, like, switched, like, scene places, taking advantage of the fact that they're making a movie, they can do different scenes. I'm like, they put a lot of work into this movie.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot to do.
And also, this is like another little tidbit bouncing off that. I saw a video of Cynthia Erivo was describing the design choices behind Elphaba, and it was so fascinating. I wanted to hear something about that for every single character and everything about the movie, because she was talking about how she wanted her skin. She was like, okay, so like obviously the skin's gonna be green. Let me add freckles because that kind of makes her more like warm and inviting. Her eyes ended up, they made her wear green contacts because they wanted to have that magical flair. Like, this movie is not set in reality,
Right.
so making her eyes green kind of like gives that distinction. And then also her braids, her hair are like tiny micro braids, which is really beautiful, especially when you see it all like her hair down. But it also still keeps the shape of her iconic braid.
Yeah.
And she was mentioning how, like, obviously underneath the green I am who I am, and I just think that's like a really beautiful way to
I feel like
Yeah.
it's
I love that.
because it's
Yeah.
really important. It's just beautiful, and I was like,
Yeah,
it made me excited.
because this movie or this like plot is like so important. I feel like for women and anyone who like just wants to believe in themselves.
Because in the concept video, we're like, I was so excited when I saw her hair because I was like, she looks like me, and I was like, but it's beautiful. But yeah, I mean, overall,
We'll be sad in that theater.
We'll be sad in that
I
theater.
will be sad in that theater.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna be very judgy.
Thoroughly
I'm
entertained for
the
every
whole
single
time. I'm just gonna
second.
be nitpicky because when it comes to this musical, you kind of gotta be.
It
has a lot. Wait, 3, 2, 1.